In a world of wrestling, WSN looks to bring you the greatest of wrestling entertainment.
Good morning, good evening, or good afternoon, hi, hello. How are you from wherever you are watching from? And may the 4th be with you. Happy Star Wars days to you on this wonderful Sunday morning. I am Mike V from the Wrestling Society Network, and this is the Wrestling Society News, episode 2. So I got to come back. So that's good, right? We are so excited to be bringing you the news of recap of the week every Sunday morning here on the WSN app and all of our social platforms. If you haven't yet already, make sure that you download the WSN app today. It's available on Roku, Amazon Fire Stick, and Apple TV. Right, well, we have a lot to cover today, so without further ado, let's get to the news. The biggest story coming out of the week, which I thought was going to be something else, ended up happening over the past couple of days, and it's that time of year. And unfortunately, WWE love to do this around this time. WWE has had mass releases. 16 wrestlers overall at the time of this recording have been released. So the following: Braun Strowman, Katana Chance, Caden Carter, Cora Jade, Shayna Baszler, Eddie Thorpe, Gigi Dolan, Dakota Kai, Riley Osborne, Jakara Jackson, Joe Kofi, Mark Kofi, Wolfgang, Oro Mensah, and Javier Bernal. Oh, and also, Danny Palmer was added to that list on Saturday morning. I had that in my notes, and it was under which I paused. Sorry, Danny. Love ya. Yeah, I think that the biggest surprises off of that list are definitely Gigi, Dakota, and Cora Jade. Three prominent individuals that were in massive storylines throughout the past couple of years. Of course, Dakota coming back and joining Damage Control. She has been injured here and there before, so I mean, maybe that has to do with it, but nonetheless, definitely a surprise. Not really surprised on Braun Strowman. I mean, this is his third time doing this right. Had that amazing feud with Bronson Reed, the Monster versus Monster match. So definitely interesting. Earlier in the week, 10 backstage WWE personnel were released as well, so you kind of figured that talent would be coming. I just did not expect this much. Some of these on here aren't as much of a surprise to me, but a lot are. Shayna Baszler, Shani Baszler, definitely a prominent name over the past couple of years as well with WWE. Hey, maybe this is a chance for her to either get back into MMA or possibly do something with Ronda Rousey, as they were tag team champions before. Who knows? But yeah, definitely a shocker for that. So stay tuned in case there is any more releases that I may have missed at the time of this recording. I apologize if I do miss any, but hey, we here at WSN wish the best to all these individuals. I don't see names like Dakota Kai, Gigi Dolan, Cora Jade, even Braun having much trouble getting work in the next couple of months after their non-compete clause is over. But yeah, it just sucks. Sucks every time this happens, but hey, that's wrestling, and it's good that we have AEW and other independent circuits for them to be able to go to. Wouldn't surprise me if like Gigi or Cora, Riley, maybe even Javier show up on TNA and sign with them, just like we saw Indy Hartwell do a couple weeks ago. Would still give them that tie then to work with WWE if needed. Right, let's move on to the next piece of news, which, hey, we got to talk about it. Unfortunately, I don't like to talk about them, but Hulk Hogan has a new wrestling promotion, and it's not what you think. If you haven't heard already, Hulk Hogan and Eric Bischoff at the beginning of the week did an old school, like NWO, black and white kind of film commercial teasing that they had something brewing up. A lot of people speculated it was a podcast, and then they teased a third member. It ended up being that this third member was none other than Izzy Israel Martinez, who is a former freestyle wrestling, NCAA Wrestling USA coach, and UFC trainer too as well. So it was announced on Wednesday that Hulk Hogan, Eric Bischoff, and Izzy Israel Martinez will start a new wrestling promotion called Real American Freestyle Wrestling. So this is not a professional wrestling promotion. This is a amateur style freestyle wrestling promotion. There's always been talks of doing this before. Look, Hulk Hogan is Hulk Hogan. I don't really, agree with the guy anymore, but I think this is actually kind of cool. We have the UFC, we have these other real life combat sports. How cool would it be to see an NCAA champion go to a professional promotion and win titles like this and kind of make it more? Now, you might have some trouble selling this to maybe the overseas markets with calling it Real American freestyle wrestling. Plus, with Hulk Hogan, you never know what you're going to get out of that too as well. But speaking of the Hulkster, he was on Fox News, Fox and Friends, and said, quote unquote, "Our goal is not to be competitive with Dana White and the UFC or the WWE, but to just be as big or bigger because this is an underserved market." Will it be bigger than the UFC or WWE? Time will tell. Is it an underserved market? I kind of agree with it. But how promotable are you going to be able to make this? Who knows? It's reported that Hogan will operate as an on-air commissioner. Bischoff will be the chief media officer, handling all the marketing as he does, and Martinez will be the chief operating officer. So we'll see what happens. It also is said that Hulk Hogan's beer, Real American Beer, has a lot of stake within the company, which the Real American Beer, I believe, is half owned by the WWE. So it's kind of interesting to see how that whole dynamic will work out. We will surely be keeping an eye on this. But yeah, a new amateur freestyling wrestling promotion has been launched. Looks like their first show is going to be later this summer. So definitely something to keep an eye on. And we'll see how it goes, right? Out of Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling, the Good Brothers are set to compete at MLP's Northern Rising event. Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling has officially announced that former WWE stars, the Good Brothers, Don Gallows, and Carl Anderson will be competing at the upcoming Northern Rising event. Opponents are to be determined as of right now. The show is scheduled to take place on Saturday, May 10th at the Madim Athletic Center, formerly known as the iconic Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Yes, so, it's been a while since we've seen the Good Brothers in action together. Machine Gun was injured there for a while and actually got let go while he was injured, something that WWE likes to do, I guess. But, hey, good to see the Good Brothers back. We'll see if they make their way to AEW as well, or if they just want to run the independents or go back to Japan like they normally do. So, be interesting. But we know that one person that won't be heading back to Japan, and that's actually heading to the U.S., is Thekla is reportedly done with Stardom and headed to the good old US of A. Last Sunday's Stardom All-Star Grand Queendom pay-per-view had a record-breaking attendance of 7,503. Shout out to those 3 fans that made it past the 7,500 mark. Hey, this was Stardom's biggest attendance record of all time, which is awesome. It's great to see Stardom getting that recognition, especially being an all-women's promotion, which is great. Thekla ended up losing her match on that night, and then after the match attacked Stardom president Taro Okada, and then that resulted in him firing her on screen. According to Fightful Select, this story was designed to conclude Thekla's tenure with Stardom, and she is departing from the company. Report also noted that sources close to the situation have indicated that Thekla is planning to move to the U.S., while there are several American wrestling promotions that have interest in signing her. It seems that AEW is the front runner to sign her. Talks have came out over the past couple of days that it seems that Thekla has hired a USA-based agency to help her, and most of those agencies normally will do work with AEW. So pretty cool. Thekla going to be on our screens. If you haven't watched any of her stuff in Stardom, please go check it out. It is pretty amazing stuff. So yeah, excited to see Thekla coming over here. Let's go on to kind of like a pretty scary moment that happened. This is backstage news on Leon Slater's status with TNA after the horrible fall that he took in the Ultimate X match. So according to Fightful Select, there were concerns about Leon Slater's health after the risky spot at the Ultimate X match at Rebellion. Fortunately, despite the stunt's dangerous nature, he seems to be okay. TNA is reporting that Slater is okay. No follow-up within the days of what happened. Slater performed a high-flying maneuver from the elevated structure, diving onto a group of wrestlers below. Literally, there was 5 other people there. When he dove onto them, though, it seemed that everybody had lost all sense of what they were supposed to do. It looked like they were late to catch a cab. They all just kind of dispersed, and Slater took a nasty bump to the floor below. Not really sure what happened there. Leon has said that in tweets and following up that he's fine. AJ Francis did tweet the following, though: almost tore my bicep trying to catch him, and I'm the only one that anyone got any smoke for. But if I was the guy that moved out of the way, y'all would try and end my career. He goes on to say a little bit more. Also, wrestling legend Ricky Morton also tweeted saying, I am disappointed. Leon gave you his trust and body on the line for an amazing moment, and all of you dropped him. Thank God he walked away. In our business, trust is everything, and his trust may never be the same. Powerful words there from Mr. Morton. Of course, a high flyer himself, still doing high-flying moves at his age. Yeah, it was I gotta admit, I don't really know what happened there. I mean, you can always go into when you have those high-flying spots and you want to trust your opponent to catch you. I can think back to Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, WrestleMania 25. Like, I can understand a situation like that where the cameraman is being pulled into a situation. You're trying to drop a camera, also make sure the Undertaker's okay, and you accidentally missed the spot. Still, I mean, it's not excusable, but I mean, there were 5 other people in this pile that could have caught Leon. So, hey, we're just glad he's okay. We'll see what his status is going to be like with TNA. He's not booked currently for anything moving forward, but hopefully he'll be able to get back to his high-flying self. Seems like he's okay, though. That's good. We're going to end the news on not really funny news, but a story that Rob Van Dam wanted to share. Rob Van Dam reveals he broke both of his ankles in his MLW match. WWE Hall of Famer Rob Van Dam, in his recent episode on his One of a Kind podcast, stated that he has sustained an injury when he battled Matt Riddle at Major League Wrestling's Battle Riot 7. It was a great match. I couldn't even tell that he was injured, and that's because it happened towards the end. So RVD goes on to say, a couple of weeks ago, I had a match in MLW. I got a lot of people saw that. A lot of people don't know that I got hurt because it was the very last move of the night. I went up to the top rope and Matt Riddle pushed me off. And the way I land on my feet normally, I kind of hug the guardrail and all of my weight goes into it. This one, I must have misjudged it a little bit and I just landed on both of my heels. I landed on both of my feet and blew both of my heels. Crazy. Both of his ankles broke pretty much out of that. He goes on to say he initially was suspicious that he sprained both of his ankles, explaining, I thought that my ankles were sprained. I crawled out of there. I haven't been able to walk since. I've gotten x-rays on both of my heels and they are broken. He's been on crutches, was on crutches on this podcast. Man, RVD, look, man, I will always be a fan. Loved every single bit of your high-flying nature, but it may be time to settle down at your older age. Maybe go ahead and enjoy what you enjoy and take a little break from this. But, man, what a great match. Awesome to see Matt Riddle and RVD square up in MLW. Best wishes to RVD, too, as well. Well, that's going to do it for our news portion. Hey, make sure that you download the WSN app today on Roku, Amazon Fire Stick, and Apple TV for all of your recapped big stories from the week. If you have any independent wrestling news that you would like to send our way, we would be honored to share any news going on in your independent wrestling promotion. Make sure that you check out all of the latest events happening over on the Wrestling Society Network's Facebook page. And if you can, give us a like. Hey, and join too. We would love for more people to be able to share their love of wrestling as we share our love of wrestling as well. Thank you so much for joining me. I have been